And good morning. So you'll immediately notice that what I have here is the IL-20. And you know that I've run more than a few IL-20 videos. And so you're probably asking yourself, why in the hell am I doing this again? Well, it comes down to a real simple reason. I want to make a ground attack video and a how-to for new players. And that being the case, we probably should have a ground attack aircraft, right? And this is the one I'm working on. First things first, the you'll notice that my flaps are down and they're constantly extended. That's an important deal here. And your question will be why? Well, that one's simple. Speed kills. And I mean that in both ways. Being fast over a ground attack target when you're trying to target ground targets is not necessarily a great thing. So I have gone, and we'll go over setting it up, but I use the key M because it's away from everything else and I'm not accidentally going to hit it, to extend my ground flaps and slow down. Now that has a couple of effects. It gives me more time over the target, and it has me going nice and slow over the target because I never run out of guns in this game. Okay, it is an arcade game. It's not a simulator. And it has some abilities that, endless ammunition, subject only to the overheat, which is thankfully very slow to come up on this. And you have a pair of massive cannons. You also have bombs and rockets. So if you don't have time to really deploy your guns, this makes it kind of easy, doesn't it? Now, in this case, I'm going to be assisting my fighters by doing a number of things. One of them is killing anti-aircraft guns where I can. Another one is destroying this ground target here, which is the bad boy in this particular base. Now you notice now I'm coming up on a target and I haven't really finished it off yet. And I don't recommend going that low. I've got a lot of experience in it, and I still don't think it's a great idea. Okay, now we've helped take the ground target, the airbase. That's not normally how you go do it, right? Doesn't matter. You discovered something new. Now I'll let the fighters go squabble over the airbase because I can't really help them. But there is a nice tactical base over here. And I still have a half load of rockets, and I have my guns, and I have bombs I want to have here in 12 seconds. And I'm going to hit the flap speed because I have to wait for the targets to reach in. In the meantime, all the fighters in the world are going to line up and shoot me. Sorry, that's part of the game too. Alright. And with an F2G. Boy, do I not want to see that aircraft. And so far, they're not paying any attention to me. Okay, that's fine. The ground attack aircraft will sooner or later show up. And I do have a bomb. Enjoy a bomb. What's a little bomb between friends, right? Okay. And we're going to kill this anti-aircraft battery because I don't want to deal with it. And we're going to come back around. Inspect target, see if there's anything I missed, because there usually is. And we are slowly but surely taking the space back. Okay. And so far I'm enjoying this because I don't have much I'm worried about in the way of, and here it goes. I'm wanting to use this tail gunner. He's a good tail gunner. I have a bomb, might as well use it. And I have some rockets. Let's go ahead and use those. Okay, I got somebody on my tail here. It's an IL-20. And that's not a good sign because he ain't going to run out of hit points anytime this year. And I'm running out of hit points rather rapidly. Alright, Mr. Tuba. Appreciate your efforts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got a load of stupid bots. Yeah. So, use your flaps. Get them set up correctly where one press of the key is hold the key. On the settings, on flaps, on the aircraft controls, assign it a key that you don't normally push, and when you get over the target, hit your flaps. Go slow. It means the super fast fighters are coming in your tail, burning around at 300 miles, and you're, hovering, 80, 100 miles an hour. It means they don't have very long to shoot you down. You have to pay attention, but if you can get behind the tail gunner, you can and take over that position, you can really do some damage to them. It's a little difficult when you have no fighter support at all, but all our fighters are busy getting slaughtered over in the center. And, I've captured 2.5 bases. No, I can't undo the decisions that the bots make, and I think it's almost all bots. Or the fact that their bots are better than our bots, or the fact that an IL-20 got to get behind me and just lay there undisturbed because we didn't have any fighter support. Well, that just comes with ground attack. All right. There are things equally aggravating about fighters in this game. So, all right, we'll take a look and see what we did here. The main thing is when you get over a ground target, a counter starts for all intents and purposes. Okay, we destroyed 7 ground targets, 43,492 points of damage. Damage to aerial targets with the rear gun. Summary, we destroyed an area target. Apparently we did kill one with our... And 5,000 points. Avalanche means I destroyed at least 5 enemy ground targets. And I earned 75 capture points. And we got some silver, and we got some experience, and so forth and so on. My chat function is totally messed up here. So I'm replying mostly in the hope that he someday gets the message. It's a content provider. I find it crippling. But I've opened a tech ticket and I have I've had no luck getting rid of it. It'll appear for a couple of days or a day, and then I've lost it. I don't know if the other guy was being sarcastic, or he was playing with me on my side, or he was bragging about the fact he was on the opposite side and lost. But he's welcome regardless. Regardless, life is short, and I haven't got time to get upset over a game. Okay, so let's move on. We have here a nice fat mining base. It's disturbingly close to where the enemy spawns at. We'll see how this turns out. Get up a little bit and toss my bombs. And there you go. A one sweep kill of that central base, and that's hard to do. Alright, we're going to hit the M key, extend our flaps, because I don't need to be going that fast here, and I really want to finish wiping out the target, and for that I need time and guns. Luckily I have both. We've now almost captured this base, and this mining plants are hard to capture. What we're doing now is wiping out the soft targets. And because of the particle effects, you can't see what's going on. And we're waiting to get some ordnance back, but we still have guns, and we have very effective guns on this particular aircraft. And whatever derogatory I say about the JU-87, you have got to understand the reason I'm so effective with guns is because of my experience with the JU-87. Okay. She is a tough mistress, but she will teach you how to use guns. You are going to curse the day you were born as you die and die and die, but the Ju-87 will teach you how to use guns as a ground attack aircraft. And just to drive that lesson home, you get to repeat it again with the Ju-88. Won't that be fun? Alright, I want nothing to do with that central island. So I'm going to try to stay clear. And I want this, well, the fighter squabble. I can't do too much about that. But I really want that mining base. So I'm trying to stay clear. Now, as a fighter, the IL-10 makes a great ground attack aircraft. But if you do it correctly, and you're not having fighter interference, you can actually use it against other slow ground attack aircraft. Now, some of the German fighters, the 265 and 329, I believe that's the right designations, are actually nimble enough that you can use them as such. And very effectively in that role. The IL-20 is better than the IL-10 at it, but it's still not great. Yeah, and you can see the problem right there. But when you do hit, by God, you hit. And thought I'd do my bit there. Alright, we've lost the base here. I can contribute, so we're going to contribute. I find that using the rockets on the center section saves you some time and effort. Primarily because the blast damage weakens the structures to either side. I'm using the guns on the soft target. We're under a lot of attack here. I've got some time. Let's see if we can't contribute to the carnage. There we go. I like Spitfires, and I'm in a ground attack aircraft anyway. And I probably have to turn around. See our flaps. And then I hear flaps again, and we're going to slow down. And the question you should be asking is, what the hell am I doing? Well, that has a number of effects. One of them is makes aircraft overshoot you. The Yak is a very fragile aircraft with a very poor I've killed 5 aircraft with this thing. Incredible. Alright. Excuse me there. Had to clear my throat or gargle. Okay, so we're going to turn around and see if there's anything else I can kill here. Had to defend my aircraft for a while. I don't think I've ever killed 5 aircraft with my tail gunner before. The nice thing, though, is you also use that tail gunner view to see what's behind you. And sure enough, I missed a fat bombing target right there. Too close to do anything else, so we're going to drop a bomb on it. And use a Q view. Sure enough, that helped a little bit. Just dip my nose down for a little bit, kill the And now I have no reason to do anything but defend myself. Oh, okay. Guess nobody thought I saw an aircraft that was coming after me here. All right. Well, we may lose this game, but it's not for lack of really trying to win. My next goal is to try to get to the mining base. We're going to take the flaps off. We're going to use boost. And boost is not usually all that useful to a ground attack aircraft, but it is useful for to get to the next target. And I dearly want to get to that target in a hurry, but I don't think I'm going to make it. We'll see. Doesn't matter. We just went over 800 and we won. Okay, we only destroyed 5 enemy ground targets, but we did almost 40,000 points in damage. And my lifetime high on that, I think it was 52 or something like that. So it's not bad. And didn't die once, which is nice. And part of it was this. I have a very effective tail gunner. And the planes that approached me did it dumb. With aircraft such as these that carry a turret in their tail, that is effective. And there's lots of them don't. The JU-77, the ME-110, the JU-88 don't really have a tail gunner. They have a nuisance eliminator. Excuse me just a minute here. Okay. They have a nuisance eliminator. So, something gets on your tail and doesn't like taking damage, they'll go away. Or if they're really low on damage, it might kill something. That's not the case with an IL-20 and some of the other fighters out there, or ground attack aircraft out there. They can have some real damage-dealing equipment in their tails. And if their tail gunner is trained upright and you're manning it, oh, they get ugly quick, as you observed. Let's look at the upgrades here, and then we'll talk about that. All right, so here's the tail gunner. And you're doing 192 DPS. And you're doing it, in this case, at 3,000 yards. 2953, I figure that's close enough. And how you train your tail gunner is going to be important to you. You may notice I didn't have a couple things going for me here, but he's got the quick reflexes, which gets him on a target 50% faster. And then he's got defensive fire, which reduces the incoming fire by 30%, and that's crucial. These both are very good. The faster you get on target, the more damage you'll do, and the reduction of enemy fighters' incoming fire matters a lot. That Spitfire on my tail was no joke. And he's mounting, if I remember right, high 400s. Well, you take 30% of that away between the rear gunner and that, all of a sudden I'm the guy with the most hit points and I'm dealing almost as much damage. You come here to, this is the next thing I'll tell you is my next plan is to get the armor when I get the enough points, and then I'll follow it up with ballistics expert. Again, that'll give me another 15% to range, and the effects of the turret stabilization is going to get increased by 20%. All right, Tyr, what's turret stabilization. All right, so you go over here and you buy this puppy and you put them on. And this is an aircraft that even after I upgrade, I want to have it a long time. So it gives you 15%. All right, to effective firing range. And you add 20% from your pilot skill on there, or your tail gunner skill, I should say. And now you're at 18%. Well, that starts adding up, doesn't it? So a lot of things that would normally outrange you don't outrange you. You outrange them. Now, in some of these, when you're dealing with mountains and stuff, the amount of time you can spend on your tail gunner is very limited. But on some of the flat maps, boy, is that an advantage. And so you getting back and manning that tail can make a heck of a lot of difference to you. All right. Target selection. The big central target for mining plants is that humongous complex with the 5 tanks and the 2 large buildings, and then the smokestacks or cooling towers on the other side. That's probably 60 to 65% of the entire map, and therefore it is a very large secret, or a very large part of getting that mining base. After that, any of the minor targets will get you the most of it, and then after that, I've found even taking out a plant is sometimes enough to tip it over. One well-armed ground attack aircraft can quickly take down a plant if you don't scatter out your fire. Now, don't get me wrong, you get past the base and you've got to turn around and something lines up in your sights, by all means, fire. But you want to concentrate on one target at a time to the degree that you can, pot shot at everything else while you're sweeping around and lining up for your next shot, and then finish taking it out. Because if the enemy ground attack aircraft, you leave one thing open and they take it out, guess what? They get all your points. If that ground attack aircraft takes you out, he gets all your points. If a fighter takes you out, they get all your points towards capturing that base. So, that's the important things on that. Employing guns, rockets, and bombs. It all comes down to range. You got a nice long run, hit your flaps first off. You always want to hit your flaps over a target. You want to linger over it. You're not in a race. You just need to keep up enough airspeed to stay airborne and stay nimble. Makes you a almost stationary target for fighters, and it makes it tougher on them. They can't just hit the S key. Now they have to slow down to where they're wondering if they're going to crash or not. And if they slow down in front and back of you, you have a stinger. You can use it. Getting back to which to employ when. So it comes down to range. So you hit your flaps, you slow it nice and slow, and you're a long way from the target. And in this case, right around 4,000 feet, maybe just a little less, you can now open up with your cannon. So use it. Don't hit your rockets yet, unless you've got 50 fighters on your tail and you know you're not going to live long, and then you're just going to maximize damage. There's a time and a place for that. But in general, you got lots of range, you got lots of time. Use your cannon. Save your rockets, save your bombs. Go ahead and, 5 hits will take out just about anything in the game. Single targets, don't waste more than one salvo at it. A pair of these 57 millimeters will kill a soft target every time if you're on the target. So, use your head. One shot, move on, one shot, move on, one shot, move on, one shot, move on, and that takes care of your soft targets. If you're getting to you're not going to have time to use your guns for that long, go ahead and fire anyway, just on general purpose, if nothing else, and use your rockets to clean up that target. Again, you want to kill as many targets as quickly as possible. As long as it's in enemy hands, you're going to continue to die. And then, so moving on, if you're closer than that, use your bomb. You have a pair of them in this case, however many bombs you got, and drop your bomb. Just maximize your efficiency by range. If you're already on top of the target, rockets are a waste of time. Drop your bomb or bombs, depending on how much you need. Have a good idea what your blast radius is. You may notice that I took out that plant because I know how tough that plant is. So I fired a salvo of rockets, fired my guns. That cleared out the front part of the mining plant where the cooling towers and what have you are. Then I dropped a pair of bombs, but I dropped them sequentially so that they would, first one to land in the first building, second one to land in the second building, and that was it. There was nothing left. Okay, that's good use of range. You come back around, check, and make sure you got everything. If you did, and in case of mining plants, you'll tell because your bar will go about 60% of the outside diameter immediately. Either going blue or red, depending on whether you're taking a base or what the case may be. Another thing to remember is that when you are over a ground target and is opposed, and it always is going to be opposed by some means or another, the clock is starting. You're dying. The faster you can take out ground targets, either convert that base to your side or and then you're going to have enemy fighters on top of that, all in every case except mining plants. All those are going to contribute to your damage. And when you run out of health, of course, you die, right? We all know this. But it's a case of never getting panicked, but never taking your time for granted. So you want to service those targets as rapidly as possible, and the best way to do it is, as I mentioned before, you want to do that over your range. Maximize your range. You're a long way away, use your guns. Get to where you don't think you're going to have time to kill the targets with the gun, go ahead and keep firing, but hit your rockets and take out the rest of the target. And just use enough to get the job done and move on. You'll be in another target if you lined up correctly right behind it, and you're probably not going to have time to use, you might get a couple of rockets and a couple of salvos off, but you're going to have to use your bombs. That takes care of 2 targets. Turn around. If it's a nice flat area like the Colorado or something, areas where, it's nice flat territory, get on your tail gunner, chase some fighters off, and get turned around, do what you need to do. Come back for a nice long approach, slow speed, use your cannons while you're waiting for your ordnance to return. If you do that, you rarely have to make more than 2, 3, maybe 4 sweeps, and even the biggest targets are going to fall to you. So that is Ground Attack 101. And I hope it was helpful to you. I hope I didn't get too boring, and I hope I didn't get too preachy. God knows I'm capable of it. And I hope this was a help to you. All right, listen, I appreciate you so much for watching. I want you to think of subscribing because I need all the subscribers I can get. And you have a great day. Bye-bye.